everybody. My name is Brian Kelley, and I'm here with Eileen Maher, and this is Talk of the Town. This is the movie review section of Talk of the Town.
That's right.
Eileen, welcome back.
Thank you, Brian.
Are you ready to give them a great show today?
Yeah, it's been a good summer. I got a chance to kind of watch some things that I had always wanted to.
I know, she doesn't see many movies.
I didn't get to see many movies for this show. The kids were all home, and we were on vacation and everything. And
You mean they're not going to get their money's worth?
No, they're going to see a whole bunch of DVDs. I saw a lot of DVDs. I didn't get out to see a lot of movies.
Next week she's going to say a bunch of VHSs.
No. Discs, DVDs. Right?
Okay, go ahead. What do we have?
I do have a lot of VHS tapes, though, and those are some of my favorite movies.
All right, tell us about it.
Let me tell you, I know you like me to kind of let everybody know what we're going to... I'm going to talk a lot about football movies today. It's football season. The Patriots are getting started again. I see the Wildcats up at Brooks Field, getting ready for hopefully another great season. So my mind has turned to football, and this summer I was finally able to watch a TV show on NBC, and it's called Friday Night Lights. I don't know if you've ever heard of that TV show.
That's my mother. God, my wife.
Big
and
trouble.
my son and my daughter, they watch it.
They
together.
do.
They watch it together.
You know, I had heard lots and lots and lots of great things about the show, but I think it's been usually running on Friday nights, and I almost always work Friday nights. And then I think they moved it around a lot, and they would have it on, then they wouldn't have it on for weeks, and they haven't, unfortunately, found a big enough audience for it, and they've been messing around with it. So they had the first two seasons.
Like our show, we're going to move it around a little bit.
They had now the first two seasons on NBC, where you could just sit down and, put NBC on and watch it on Friday night. For the third season, they're doing something a little bit unorthodox and I think very unusual. They're going to run the whole third season on DirecTV. Okay. So I think there's only maybe 14 or 15 episodes. So unless you have DirecTV, you will not have the opportunity
to see
it.
You don't have DirecTV because if you're seeing us now, you don't have DirecTV.
And that's a real shame. But then I think...
What do you mean? If they had DirecTV, they wouldn't get our show?
That's what I'm saying. They should. That's too bad.
Maybe DirecTV should subscribe to this.
Yeah, they should. But then I think what they're going to do, what NBC is going to do, is once it has its run on DirecTV, they're going to take it, and I think it'll be like a mid-season replacement. So hopefully from January on, you'll be able to see it in its entirety.
So they'll get this out to two networks.
Yes, brilliant. And you know what? I guess if that's what it takes to keep a show of this caliber alive, then you know what? Kudos to NBC for reaching out, branching out. Somebody must have said, look, we got to hang on to this somehow, some way. And this is what they're going to do. But let me start with the history of Friday Night Lights. I had seen the movie years and years and years ago.
She's pretty old.
Friday Night Lights, directed by Peter Berg, who actually plays a character in the second season. If you've had a chance to see it, he plays the coach's ex-high school boyfriend. So he comes back into the scene, has become very successful, and the coach and his wife go out to dinner with him, and the coach and this guy kind of have a drinking contest. It's really, really funny. But directed by Peter Berg, who, what else had he done? Not much. But what I thought was interesting about the director, and now I'm talking about the movie, the 2004 movie, Friday Night Lights, which starred Billy Bob Thornton as Coach Gary Gaines. The movie tells the real-life story of the Permian High School Panthers from Odessa, Texas, their 1980 season to the drive to the state championship. And it really grabs you. It's based on a book by H.G. Bissinger, and he's a very well-known sports writer. He's also called Buzz Bissinger. And the interesting thing about the director, Peter Berg, is that he's his cousin. He's the cousin of Buzz Bissinger, and maybe that's why he got to direct this, because he hasn't really directed a whole bunch of things. So I thought that was kind of cool. It tells the story again of the Odessa High School Permian Panthers drive to the high school state championship in Texas. And Odessa is a town that has been extremely hit hard at this point in time. This is 1980, when oil production in Texas became pretty much non-existent, at least in this part of Texas. In this part of Texas, there had been a huge boom where all of a sudden everybody was a millionaire, and then huge, just as big a boom, just as big a bust. Everything fell out from under them. And the high school football team was kind of like the one thing that drew this town together, that gave this town hope, and it details the entire 1980 season. Again, incredible cast. You've got Billy Bob Thornton as Coach Gary Gaines. Lucas Black, I don't know if you know him. He was in one of my favorite movies of all time, Crazy in Alabama. He played a very young boy, but he's like a 16, 17-year-old quarterback of the team in this. it just shows each player. You get a little glimpse into each player's life, the hardships that they all deal with. Many of them have parents who aren't around. Many of them are struggling in many, many ways. And it just was a great, great football movie. And I like true-to-life stories as well. Billy Bob Thornton, most of the time you can't go wrong, although he's done a bunch of kind of strange things lately. I did like it. I liked him. Tim McGraw has a cameo as one of the high school football players. Fathers, who was a high school star himself, who now has, again, hit hard times as an alcoholic. There's a great scene in the movie between the two of them as they're driving home from a game, and the dad is drunk, the son is driving him home, and the dad has his high school state championship ring from when he was on the team, and he's just so disgusted with everything, with his life. With
threw it out the window, didn't he?
He takes it and he throws it out the window. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I just love that scene. Two characters from the movie. Connie Britton, who plays Coach Gaines' wife in the movie, goes on to play Coach Gary Taylor's wife in the series, and another actor called I wrote his name. Oh, Brad Leland plays like the head booster there. He's the one that kind of fills the coach in on what the people in town would like. He also plays a great character in the TV show, Buddy Garrity, who I just love. He's a great character.
Can I interject something?
Yeah.
It's just coincidental that she just mentioned Booster and football.
Oh, yes.
Because our show this week, matter of fact, you know anything I'll do because we're filming the movie review section first. So I might even play it first this series.
Okay.
And we're gonna, if you hang in there after the movie review section, we're gonna be talking with the Boosters and the Wildcats and athletics at the high school. So you're gonna see some guests that you're gonna be familiar with coming up very soon, and how you at home might be able to help out the Boosters. So stay tuned for that. And it just so happens that's kind of the theme of this show is supporting the Milton High Boosters. So
and we didn't even discuss that.
See, the stars are in alignment.
It's scary, Brian.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
But just back to the movie, again, I really loved the movie. It really showed an incredible side of local town sports, how involved people, especially in small towns, can be, the pressures that they put on both the coaches and these extraordinarily young players. These boys are 16, 17, 18 years old, and the weight that they carry on their shoulders is just unimaginable to me. But a great film, and if you liked it, you will love Friday Night Lights, the TV show, because if I had to compare
so
the
are
two...
you reviewing the TV
I'm
show?
doing both. I'm going to talk about both.
We're getting the double here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had never had a chance... I've seen the movie in the past, had never had a chance to see the TV show. This summer, because I had a little bit of downtime, I was able to catch all of the Friday Night Lights episodes on Netflix. But I also found a great website. If you're like me and you never get to see shows when they run, but you'd like to see them, Hulu, HULU.com, has episodes of just about all kinds of TV shows. It has all 2 seasons of Friday Night Lights.
You have to pay a fee?
No, you don't have to pay a fee at all.
No fee?
No, but there's commercials.
Hulu.
There's commercials.
Oh, well,
Brief commercials. There's maybe 2 minutes of commercials in like a 30-minute show. I've been watching 30 Rock as well on there. Okay. So if you're like me, you don't get a chance, or maybe you don't TiVo, maybe you don't
give them again.
HULU, Hulu.com. New shows, old shows, it's a great place to go. If you're like me, I don't mind sitting in front of the computer, watch a half-hour or an hour show, put my headphones on. Every madness is around me, but I'm sitting there with my nice headphones on watching my show. And that's when I got a chance to see both of the 2 seasons of Friday Night Lights, the TV show. And if I had to give you which one do I like the most, I loved the movie, but the TV show is even better. The difference is the movie is based on fact. It's a true story. These are real people. The television show is a fictionalized account of very similar circumstances. A small Texas town, the whole weight of, the town's happiness rests on whether or not the high school football team wins or loses on a Friday night. That's why it's called Friday Night Lights. All their games are played at home. Not all at home, but the home games are played Friday night with the lights. And literally the whole town closes down. Friday night, you can't do anything. Town closes down. Everybody comes to it. And there's a great cast. Kyle Chandler plays Coach Eric Taylor, and you might know him from... He was in King Kong not too long ago. Very small role. But he also was in a show called Early Edition about the guy who used to get the newspaper delivered to his door, and it would tell the future, basically. It would be a magical newspaper. And he'd see that somebody got killed in a crane.
It was a real early edition. Did he try to change the future with it?
Yes, it's great. It's a great show.
He ruined the paper.
His wife is played, again, by Connie Britton. She played the wife in the movie as well, Tammy Taylor. A young girl, Amy Teagarden, plays their daughter, Julie Taylor. And again, Brad Leland plays Booster Buddy Garrity. And
Booster Buddy Garrity.
Yeah, Booster Buddy Garrity. There's just, I can't say a bad thing about one single actor that I've ever seen in the show. It's a group of young.
And folks, if Eileen can't say anything bad, you know they're doing a great job.
Not one thing. Every
tough.
single cast member is incredible. I'm not going to single anybody out because again, they're just all really, really good. So if you're interested, and you don't have to like football at all. Not at all to watch the TV show. There is some football in each show, but basically it's just a drama revolving around a football team, football players, and a football town. So I can highly recommend both the movie, Friday Night Lights, and the television show, Friday Night Lights.
And it fits with the theme of the Boosters. Matter of fact, there's a golf tournament, tennis tournament on the 22nd of this month at Wollaston Golf Course. That's where and there's going to be a dinner there and an auction and everything. So check it out. I'll have some more information later in the show.
Yeah, boy, that's really important because as a parent of two students that just entered the high school, writing that $400 check so that they could both play soccer was, I'm not going to say it was a hardship, but it certainly wasn't easy, Brian. And it was funny when I was writing the check out, Mr. Traster, the athletic director, says, well, if they play all
he might be on our show in a little while. He's supposed to be on the show.
Good.
Yeah, so you can talk to him about it.
Oh, don't worry about it. If they each play 3 sports, there's a cap of $1,000. So in the spring, you'll only have to pay $200. And I'm like, damn, that's great, isn't it? So, the boosters do a great job raising money, getting the kids some new uniforms would be nice, making sure they have the right and protective equipment. So support the boosters. I'm going to continue with another.
We have the athletic
movie.
Boosters, and then you also have FAME, which is the
music.
Friends of Music.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of.
Yep.
They all need help.
Plenty of opportunities to give in. I'm going to continue with another football movie that I had never seen.
This is unbelievable. We're going to have the coach on. I believe the coach is going to be on a little while. And you're talking all the...
I know.
This is the
I
perfect...
wish you were here right now, because I'd love to
you're going to see him in about 20 minutes.
We'll have to... You remind me to see what he thinks of, if he's seen any of these movies. The next one's called We Are Marshall.
Loved it.
A 2006 film directed by Mick G. And Mick G is a young man named Joseph McGinty Nickel. And McGinty's his mom's maiden name. So that's where he gets the Mick G from. I thought he was like a rapper turned director until I looked him up, He's 40 from Kalamazoo. And what I thought was really kind of interesting about this director, he's got a BA in psychology. And I said, man, I didn't look it up till after I saw the movie. He really did a great job with this film. If you hate football, you will love this movie. It is about a football team. Again, true story. The 1970 Marshall University football team from Huntington, West Virginia. Almost every single player was killed in a tragic plane crash. And this story, We Are Marshall, tells the story of the subsequent efforts
to rebuild the team.
To rebuild the team by the few remaining players, the one remaining recruiter, who again it was like a Buddy Holly type thing. I'm a recruiter, you're a recruiter. We're both I'm going to go get on the plane. You're going to drive to see this kid. You're kind of tired. I say no problem. I'll drive. I'll go see this kid. You get on the plane. So the recruiter, played by Matthew Fox, recruiter Red Dawson, he lives. He's played by Matthew Fox, which you might recognize from Lost. And the coach, who, again, the poor college president is trying desperately to find a coach who will come and coach. We don't have any, we have nobody. We have no players, no coaches. We have nobody to help us. He has this huge list, and he goes through, I understand, I understand. He's crossing out all these names of prospective coaches. One day he gets a phone call from a man named Jack Lengel, goes and sees him. Why do you want to do this? I don't know. Well, I heard about it on the news. My heart broke for you and what your community and what your college is going through. And I thought, how can I help? And he gets the job. And he does a great job. And he's played by Matthew McConaughey, who I'm always a little bit ambivalent about. I'm not thrilled with him. He's okay. And I wasn't really thrilled when I realized he was going to be... That's probably why I hadn't seen this movie when it came out. Because I usually like football movies. This movie was critically panned. A few people, young people, that I know that saw it, they hated it. Critics did not like it. Critics did not like it.
That's why you tune in to see Eileen Maher, because you can't trust those critics. They don't know anything, those critics.
My son saw it with a bunch of his friends, didn't like it at all. Because as I said to you, this is much more than a football movie. It's a movie about people. It's a movie about a town. It's a movie about rebuilding. It's a movie about hope. And the incredible way in which they go about it. An absolute vision. Who else did I really love in this? David Strathairn plays the college president, and Ian McShane, who I've talked about before, he was in Deadwood. That's probably what I know him best from, as Swearingen. He plays a single dad. His wife died a few years before. His only child, his son, was the college quarterback of the team who was killed in the crash. So he's absolutely devastated. Doesn't want the team to go on. Feels that they need to wait a couple of years, but around him, somehow they managed to get the team together, and for the first time in NCAA history, they allow freshmen to play because of the pleas from the college president, David Strathairn, who plays President Deadman of the college.
I like that there was one scene when they had the new coach, and all the townspeople were there, and there was a lot of division, and somebody asked him a question about how do you feel about something to do with the division in the town over this whole issue, and his answer was, I'm sorry, I'm just a coach. I'm just a coach, and he just kind of deferred that and didn't take sides, and it was just
absolutely
it was a great scene. It was a great scene, and it was a very good movie. I enjoyed it
because anything else he could have said would have offended.
Yeah, he would have offended half the people in the room.
Great, that was a great scene.
I'm just a coach.
Really good scene. You're right, Brian. That was a great scene. The only other person that I really thought was great was a young actress, Kate Mara, who played Heath Ledger's daughter in Brokeback Mountain. She plays the fiance of the quarterback who gets killed. So she and the dad spend some time together. He comes to the diner every day where she works. They get close. They talk. And it's, just the two of them.
Oh, yeah, that was good. That was
just
some good
great.
scenes, too.
Great. Again, Matthew McConaughey was unbelievably incredible for this role. I can't think of anybody that could have done a better job. He's got that goofy grin, he's got that curly blonde hair, but he's wide-eyed and just absolutely captured the emotion, the heartfelt. I must have cried 3 or 4 times. I cried through this movie, and it was so good, Brian, and I can't get over how good it was. And if you do like Matthew McConaughey, I will be talking about him again in another movie. Towards the end, he plays a small role in Tropic Thunder. But people make a lot of fun of Matthew McConaughey. He's always got the shirt off. He's always on the beach exercising and stuff. But I just happened to be on funnyordie.com. Have you ever heard of that website?
I missed that one.
It's
Funny or Die.
Yeah, it's Will Ferrell's website. He created it with another comic. I forget his name. And people can submit things, and then you can watch it and say, is it funny? Does it live on? Or should it die? Should it be taken off? And I just happened to Google Matthew McConaughey's name.
Yeah, but our show on there.
But there's a really funny video on there. You could probably catch it on YouTube as well. It's called 3 Matthews and a Baby. And it's 3 guys dressed up acting like Matthew McConaughey, with the headband, the shirt off, kind of saying dude and talking like that. And it's absolutely hysterical. So see We Are Marshall. And then if you want to see a really funny clip about kind of making fun of Matthew McConaughey, see 3 Matthews and a Baby. All right, the final football film of the series. It's out in the movies right now. It's a movie called The Long Shots. It was produced in 2008. It's rated PG. And it's directed, interestingly enough, by Limp Bizkit lead singer Fred Durst. And when I read that, I couldn't believe it. But he actually also produced a film in 2007, which I'm going to have to see, called The Education of Charlie Banks. So I'm going to have to go back and see that. But anyway, directed by Fred Durst, produced by Ice Cube, who really has, actually both of these men, if you look at Fred Durst and Ice Cube, they both come from
I like that
turbulent,
name, Ice Cube.
Ice Cube. Turbulent backgrounds, I guess. Limp Bizkit's kind of like a rap rock band.
What's his name?
Fred Durst.
The other one.
Ice Cube.
Oh,
I don't know his
real name. What did you say about Bizkit? What was that?
Limp Bizkit. That's the name of the band that Fred Durst.
Limp Bizkit?
Limp Bizkit, yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're still around. I don't think they're still. I don't think they've recorded anything recently because he's been directing films. But Ice Cube and Fred Durst both had kind of raw, I'll say, careers before. And certainly Ice Cube has transformed himself with the Are We There Yet movies.
I thought his career was cold.
Oh, very good. You remember those movies? Are We There Yet?
No, I remember saying that in the car.
Are we there yet?
I don't remember the movie.
Are we done yet or something? So he's kind of transformed himself into like a real family-friendly guy, kind of like Eddie Murphy. But it stars Keke Palmer, who was in Akeelah and the Bee, the young actress. She plays Jasmine Plummer, another true story, and it's probably why I really like it. about 4 years ago, Jasmine Plummer became the first and only female quarterback ever in the history of
another
Pop
football
Warner.
name.
Yeah, it's all football. I don't know why it was on my mind, but I get stuck on
She was the
things.
only Pop Warner
female quarterback in Pop Warner history, and that was about 4 years ago. It tells the story also of a place called Minden, and she plays for the Minden Browns. That's the name of the team. And Minden, very much like Odessa, Texas, from Friday Night Lights, has seen the factories shut down. So a town that had a huge working class, middle class, has been reduced because of the loss of jobs to people just barely being able to scrape by. And Ice Cube was himself, well, not Ice Cube, but he plays Curtis Plummer. He plays Jasmine's uncle. Mm-hmm. He was himself a high school football player, and he still kind of hangs around the field, and he likes to watch the Minden Browns, the young kids, the young Pop Warner team playing. His niece, played by Keke Palmer, Jasmine Plummer, needs a babysitter for a while after school. Her mom has to work extra hours. He finally decided he's going to help, but he's not really happy about it. Brings her to the field, finds out, hey, guess what? This girl who typically only likes to sit down quietly and read and watch TV has a hell of an arm. Let's get her up here. Let's get her playing. Great coaches. Everybody agrees.
How old is she?
She was 11 at the time. So from like 11 for a couple of years, she was the team quarterback and led them from a losing team to a winning team. Okay. So I can say this is a great story.
What's it called?
It's called The Long Shots. And what I found was, it's again a great story of how a town looks to.
And this is on DVD right now?
This is out in the movies right now.
Oh, it's in the movies.
This is in the movies. Yep, The Long Shots. It's still in the movies, which I'm really glad to hear about that because it opened a couple of weeks. It might opened about a month ago. So go see it. Go see it with everybody in your family. I think it's rated PG, but it really could be G. There's nothing really offensive in it. But it's just a great story of the young girl, her uncle, again, a town. Because, up until she starts playing, how many people do you think come watch the team play? 10 people. We've got this female quarterback. It becomes nationwide newsworthy. And not only is it newsworthy, but she's worthy. She's just not somebody out there and playing because she's a girl. She's playing because she's the best athlete in the position. And that, I think, was...
Did you hear in the news lately about the kid, the baseball player?
Which one?
It's been in the paper. In, I don't know, Little League or something. But he's so good that they can't let him play.
Oh,
and
he's
the
a
controversy
pitcher.
of this,
I did read about that.
He hasn't hit anyone, but he's just
incredibly
fast.
To play.
And so there's that whole controversy of whether should he play, and there's an argument for both sides. Yeah. And it becomes national news.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, if the kid's good enough to play,
they're going to make a movie about it.
Good, they should. He's playing.
Maybe we can make it.
I think we should. That would be great. They have the face cages, right? Well, maybe that's what they should have in the league, the face cage.
They need a full body cage.
And just so there's a whole bunch of football movies to see that I've seen recently, and just a couple.
So if you don't like football, you're probably not going to like our show today.
I'm telling you right now, you would like every single one. Maybe not Friday Night Lights as much. Friday Night Lights is huge. Football. But again, it is a great drama and a real-life drama. Nice. But all the rest of them, We Are Marshall, The Long Shots, and, again, it got me thinking, do you remember Brian's song? I got a chance to rewatch that as well. Man.
Yeah, that's what,
James
30 years old?
Brian, it was 1971, yeah, so 37 years ago. With James Caan as Brian Piccolo and Billy D. Williams as his best friend, Gail Sayers.
What was the song?
If the hands of time... I'm crying if I sing it. They'll cry if I sing it. But they made the mistake of remaking it in 2001, and I did get a chance to see the remake. Forget it, it's not very good. But Brian's song, it holds up. Some movies that are old, especially movies from the 70s, they do not hold up. Brian's song holds up. Great. I loved it. And I know I reviewed
Didn't that take place in Boston, Cambridge, or something? I'm trying to remember.
Oh, maybe it did.
It was along the channels. I remember them sitting on the grass
maybe
or something.
It did.
Yeah.
Although not.
I'm trying to remember.
It's definitely not the Patriots. There might have been some parts of it.
I'll have to see it again. It's been a long time.
Another great true story about Brian Piccolo's battle with cancer while he was a professional football player, and his deepening friendship with Gail Sayers. Great movie.
All right.
And that's a true story, too. And one more, don't forget Invincible with Mark Wahlberg, which I reviewed when it came out a while ago. Another true story about Vince Papale, a walk-on with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I can't believe you picked all football movies today.
Almost all football movies so far, I'm sorry. But all really great dramas, really great movies.
Don't be sorry, this is the season.
Yeah.
it's going to start getting a little cool at night.
Yeah.
You can start thinking about football.
And the very last thing I'm going to talk about in the 5 minutes I've got left is a movie that's out in the theaters right now. It's rated R. It's called Tropic Thunder. And Thunderous.
I saw it.
Oh, good. I'm dying to hear somebody else's opinion. Thunderous is pretty much what the media build-up to this movie was. I mean, they were Jack Black, Ben Stiller, and Robert Downey Jr., the three stars of the movie, were on the cover of Entertainment Weekly, 3 weeks before it came out. These guys have been everywhere. Thunderous media blitz for this movie. And I talked to a few people that had seen it, and they all liked it. And I love Ben Stiller, and I like Robert Downey Jr., and I really like Jack Black. But I just found this okay, and I don't know why. Let me tell you, it's directed by Ben Stiller, and he probably directed, again, one of my really favorite movies, Cable Guy. Very funny, very quirky, with Jim Carrey. He also directed Zoolander, which was very strange. But this movie is the story of 5 actors sent into the jungle in Vietnam to film a Vietnam story. And they turn out to be a bunch of prima donnas, and the director says, "That's it, I'm sick to death of all of you." The writer of the book, who is Nick Nolte, playing John Four-Leg Taybach,
I haven't seen him since On the Black.
Off the Black.
Off the Black.
Says, you've got to get these guys out into the jungle and drop them off and just use some handheld cameras and shoot guerrilla style and let them learn their lesson. These prima donnas.
Guerrilla style in Vietnam.
The movie opens, and I'd have to say the first 5 minutes of the movie was the absolute best. It opens with a fake advertisement and
trailers of.
Well, the first one's an advertisement for some really disgusting products. One is a drink, an energy drink called Booty Sweat, and the other one is a candy bar called Bust a Nut. And the person promoting this is, the star's name is Al Pacino. You get
Al
that?
Pacino.
Yes. Believe me, he's no Al Pacino. But he's played by Brandon T. Jackson, so he's a rapper who's now going to be in this movie. So his thing, absolutely hysterical. Then they have fake previews for movies of the other 3 stars. Robert Downey Jr. is an Australian actor called Kirk Lazarus, and they have a preview for his upcoming feature called Satan's Alley. And it's he and Tobey Maguire dressed like monks shooting salacious looks at each other, you know. Then there's Jack Black's trailer. His movie is called The Fatties Fart 2. And in that, he plays every single obese member of a really gaseous family. And the scene that we see is them sitting all around a dining room table, breaking wind. And Ben Stiller, his name is
It's interesting how she reviews this movie. It's quite a challenge.
Tug Speedman, that's Ben Stiller's actor's name. His preview is for his movie Scorcher 6, Global Meltdown. So it's kind of like a spoof on Rocky. And the whole thing kind of spoofed, although I'm not even going to say spoof. I'm not exactly sure what it was aiming for. You do see bits and pieces of lots of other war movies. The scene of Charlie Sheen in Platoon. You remember Platoon? Did you see Platoon? That really moving scene with him on his knees and his hands up in the air. They spoofed that. Bridge on the River Kwai, they're blowing up the bridge. But I don't think they do it all that stylistically. They don't do it that well. It's a very rude, crude movie.
Bold, and unattractive.
That's usually okay. I made that point. Somebody said to me, but you loved Borat. How rude and crude can you get? But you know what? Borat showed a really nasty side of humanity. Remember, he's out there with the camera, and people don't know they're on camera, and the things that people say and do. Mm-hmm. He was really making, I think, a great statement on humanity. And I'm not saying movies have to make statements. I know that this is just silly and funny. And did I laugh? Yes, I laughed. So they go into the jungle, and they think that they're in the middle of a movie. But their director, played by Steve Coogan, who's very, very funny, gets blown up by an old landmine. And from there on, one of the actors believes that they are in trouble, but the other ones kind of keep going. Like they really think that they have a scene book, and they just follow the scenes, and they just kind of go each way. Really, really nasty part with Ben Stiller. He apparently had been in a movie. What was the movie? Jack. Something Jack.
It was Jack.
And he plays a mentally disabled boy in the movie, and he was very upset that he didn't get Academy Award nominated. Well, he gets captured by a village of people that love his movie, Silly Jack, Smiling Jack, and he has to keep replaying this role that's, I found, a little bit
It was controversial in the papers, I believe. There were a lot of outcries about this. Did you read that in the paper?
I didn't, but I can certainly understand why. I thought that was a wee bit... And again, that's Ben Stiller. He's off color. He's politically incorrect. The whole thing's off color. The whole thing's politically incorrect. Did I laugh? Absolutely.
How'd you like it when they threw the baby?
That was really gross. You're right. There's some scenes. There's some really vicious
I thought that was the funniest part of the whole movie.
I didn't like it at all.
But then they showed it again right afterwards.
I know.
And we were only kidding, folks.
I know. I don't know. I mean, that opening scene where they're really filming this Vietnam War movie, where the guy's guts literally come out. He's picking out his guts. I don't know. Not exactly what I expected. Not as good as I had hoped for.
I thought it was offensive to the Vietnam veterans.
Extremely offensive
I felt
to
uncomfortable
any
at the
veterans.
very beginning when I didn't know really what was going on.
Yes, if you didn't know what was going on, I at least knew what was happening. I knew what was coming up. So it's rated R. I wouldn't take any little kids, that's for sure.
So
it will play
it
just
was a
fine.
mixed bag.
It'll play just fine on DVD. If you want to wait, I would probably recommend waiting.
We went to the theater and they gave
us
us a questionnaire and everything. I guess
really?
it was like they were trying to get feedback on it.
Oh, was it that? Must have been when it just opened.
I go to things right.
So anyway,
I don't watch them DVD 4 years later.
But I'll tell
30
you,
years later,
two
Brian
good things about this movie. Matthew McConaughey plays an agent to Ben Stiller, and he was hysterical. I loved his character, and once again, he proves me wrong. He can be very charming and funny. He was great in it. And Tom Cruise has a role as the movie's executive producer.
You can admit he was funny.
You know what? If you don't know it's Tom Cruise, you might not know right away. They have him bald. They have him fat. He is foul, though.
Oh, yeah.
Just foul.
But it's not Tom Cruise in your mind. It's strange. Yeah.
And even like just from the beginning when the song that Al Pacino sings to Booty Sweat. You remember that song he sings? I won't get into it, but it is... This movie really hard R, you know? Yeah. And I just wasn't as happy with it as I had hoped to be. I wanted to go...
She couldn't stay on the theme of all football. She had to throw that in there, take us right out of the movie. Well, folks, hey, I'm glad you watched the movie review section. Stay tuned because we just did a flip with the show. So now we're going to... No! Go ahead.
Appaloosa opens on Friday, and it's based on Robert P.
Something to do with horses?
B. Parker's book, you know him, he's a Boston author. It stars Viggo Mortensen and Ed Norton, and I can't wait to see it, so I'll be reviewing that for you next time. They've been together in A History of Violence, so I'm dying to see the two of them together. Appaloosa opens Friday.
Okay, and you stay tuned. Stay tuned, folks, because we have a great show coming up with some great guests and some new businesses in Milton, and we're going to talk about the boosters and about football, about supporting the kids at the high school, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Stay with us. Bye-bye.